Thank you. Hello and welcome. My name is Tracy McCarthy and I work for the Early Years Alliance as a service officer. It's our pleasure to be doing 3 sessions on reduce, reuse and recycle. And this is the second of one of those sessions. All sessions will be on YouTube. So to start with, last week we looked at reducing, so we were looking at how we could reduce the energy we saved to save the environment. Today we'll be looking at reusing. Reusing is really quite a wide range of things that we can do for reuse, and we'll be going through some of those as we talk through today's session. To just start though with some information, some experts have been reading up a lot about reuse, and some experts do actually think that reuse is the most important of all the 3. So when you're reusing something and not recycling, recycling takes energy because things have got to be dismantled and they've got to be remade. But obviously if you're reusing it and you're keeping it in circulation, that's not actually having to happen. It reduces the need for raw materials, so saving both the forest and water supplies. So what we're doing is we're open to sustain the environment for our future generations, so for our children, grandchildren. And what we're also doing is we're consuming fewer products, which eradicates the need for them to be recycled. So what can we do? I'm sure many of you do lots and lots of things already to reduce. One of the things that is most important that we try to reduce is single-use plastic. And a lot of those we get from supermarkets when we're buying our vegetables, when we're buying things that are in carts, plastic cartons. It's actually thinking of ways that we can eradicate that if possible. What I've got here is a t-shirt bag. I've made this out of a t-shirt that unfortunately no longer fits me. So if this had got sleeves, I would have cut the sleeves off and cut the neck. And then all you do is cut this folded over and cut some little on each side, the side facing, just cut the about 3 centimetres, 2 centimetres. Now it depends on your fingers, but because we've got to double knot these. So if you've got very thin fingers, you may not need to cut them so much. And then all you do is do another double knot along each side. And then you'll see you've got, it looks like that, just like a really pretty knotted device. They're very strong. You can put your potatoes in them and different things. And then all you do is fold it over. So when you've gone right along the bottom, you can see that it's all attached, and it will be as strong as your as most carrier bags. You can also make them out of larger t-shirts. They're very, very good for storing things like bricks, you know, things at home that you struggle to sort of get into a box. And it's like a fight every time you do them. You can actually just make yourself a large bag and use it like that. You can also make them out of children's t-shirts. Because I bought this bag from a grocery store, and this is when you go in shopping, you put your vegetables in, so you've not got to keep using your recycled plastic. So you could use a children's bag and do it in exactly the same way and take that with you. Also, children like to have their own bags. You can take your paper bags. I'm not advertising here, but this is just a bag that I had when I went shopping. And you know, I'll be able to take it shopping and use it for different things. And try to not to buy bags, a bag for life, as they're called. But it's just one of the ways that we can reduce as adults in sort of our everyday life. obviously reducing the energy, sort of reusing things around the house. Now, around the house, when you've got your children, I mean, obviously everybody's got their children at home at the moment because most nurseries are closed and the school holidays have started. So think about things that you have in your house and try to think about ways that you may use these things different. So here we've got this, these are just shoe boxes, and we've made like a little house. Hasn't got to be a house, it could be a garage, it could be a back cave, it could be anything that you wanted to do. So it's just a question of decorating the house, and that's something you can do with your child, whatever age, because 2-year-olds will want a say in where things go. So I've used different mediums that I've had around the house that I would have normally thrown away, but I've recycled. So this was a birthday balloon that I had, and it's not the same pattern as that, but it's the same. So when it had gone down, I just split the sides. I did do it when there was no children about. Just split the sides, and then you've got 2 different colours there, so you could make. As you can see, I'm thinking it's a swimming pool, and I've used the back sides to that to do that with. Or you can do the bright pink facility decorations. I've used wrapping paper to do things like making I call that coffee table, don't know if everybody else would, a coffee table, and I've used wrapping paper for lots of for a few of the other things. I've also, we've been decorating, I've got a colour chart, and I thought, oh, what can I do with this colour chart? So I've cut that up to make tiles for the floor. So, and I've also used old wallpaper, but anything at all that you've got around your house, like things like birthday cards. These are old. I don't know if you can see in that one. I've got a Disney card, and that was sent to me, so I've used it as part of the bedroom furniture. So anything at all you have, and all you really need is some glue and some scissors and some masking tapes. Now, some of the furniture is old furniture, and some of it's I've got around the house, and I've just collected it. I've got some people, and I've also got Peppa Pig, because I thought he'd be very useful. Also done a nod to reducing energy by putting a shopping line on the top. So that's just a really simple thing. It could probably take me quite some time to do with your children. So it'd be really, you can sort of do it. And then the next day, the children, it could be something completely different. So you could put things in that were completely different. It could still be the same box, but it could be used as a sorting box, putting all pink balls into one area and all blue into another. Just use it as many different reasons, different ways as you can. Also, we've just been having new guttering in our house. So old guttering is really, really fun, and you can prop it against something, or you can tie it to a table leg. And if you've just got something like a ping pong ball, it's just a nice idea to entertain children. And I've got an old cardboard roll down there, which I don't think you can actually see. Using your cut up cardboard that we used last time is always a good idea. And shops, always sort of, when you think about playing shops, we can sometimes get sort of sucked into buying these shops that we see in the catalogue during Christmas, which normally don't last that long. And the boxes that they're in, the boxes that we're put in as the shops are quite easily ripped. So what you can do is you can just get some normal things, like I've done with the packet of crisps, and I've just filled that with some screwed up paper. So you just use that. Also, I've just gone into my cupboard, so you see the sort of things we eat. I've just gone into my cupboard and got some cereals and some tin stuff. Put my name across the top. You can I've got some money in here. Now, you may not always want to put money in because obviously the children's age, but if you've got children that you're doing some maths with during the summer, you can always put some money in. I've saved my old gift tags so you can put the price on there, and I've saved my old things when I've been buying some new clothes. So everything that you've got there, you can reuse and reuse. I have put some plastic fruit, because you may have play food that you think is better for the children to be playing with, and that's perfectly fine. Anything that you have in your house, the children will be used to, is just put it in. It hasn't got to be a food shop, it could be a pet shop, it could be a toy shop, anything at all. It's just an old box. And unfortunately at the moment, we seem to be having more delivered because we've not always been able to get out to the shop. So we've got a lot of cardboard boxes that we really need to be reusing, and this can be reused time and time again. Also at the moment, I was seeing quite a lot of bubble wrap. Now, bubble wrap, it's got very therapeutic benefits. The popping would be lovely. So you could use it to wrap things up at shop. You could use it to pop with your fingers. If you've got the ones bubble wrap with the bigger bubbles, that's really nice. If you was to masking tape it to the floor, masking tape will stick it, and it will stick to most floors. But and it shouldn't mark them. But just check with a little bit before you actually do that. And it's quite nice for the children to roll across and then jump on. If you've got a little child's hammer, you could stick this to a table and let the child just hammer it. It's getting out quite a few sort of getting out some of their feelings. And it does sound lovely when it's chocolate. So do save that. Just put some sponges there. Sponges are lovely to build with. So if you've got any sort of sponges in the kitchen that you think of, you could use those for something else. They're very good for building, and the fact that when they fall over, they don't make a big noise. If you've got a baby sleeping and another child playing, they won't make the noise. And they can use them for lots of different things. They've been used in the playhouse to make some seating. But that's just another idea. Also, if you've got things like dinosaurs and the children are playing with the dinosaurs and they're really enjoying that, try to do something different. So I've got some things. I've got some stones in the back garden. Some of these dinosaurs, it depends on your children's age. I could say use the ones that your children are able to make, because these are a little bit small. This is something that plant seeds in. Just put a bit of compost on, a bit of greenery from in the garden, and you'll find that the children can just make what they want. I've put some. You could use porridge oats. You could use some soil like garden. You could use sand out your sandpit. You could make some cornflower dough and put it in there, because that would stick to the dinosaur's legs. So that's just a tray that we use with different things, probably not so much for eating off nowadays, but it's just quite an easy one. Made a little garden here out of the sorts of things that you have ready meals in. I put some greenery in, some flowers. Children will take it to the nth degree. You could use lolly sticks for them to make a fence with, just depending on your child's age group and what they particularly enjoy doing. I've got here some greenery that as I say, I've got from my garden. And then there's different ways that you can use this. You can use it for just letting children make a pattern, and then when they finish that pattern, they'll probably go on and put that back and do something else. So I've just got cardboard, or you can use, I don't know if you can see here that I had a cake, so I've got a cake board that I would have probably not known what to do with, and it was just done around the house, so I'm using it for that. Got some conkers, I've got some placemats that you can use. So anything, and a plate, anything that you can use, so the child can make their own pattern. So you just make a pattern, add what the children think they might like a bit of green there, probably cut this greenery up a bit smaller. And then if you could always take a photo of it and then they can start again. So it's sort of like an ever-ending design tool. They can just keep making things. If you've got things like conkers, that's lovely to add to it. If you've got, and I've also got in here, I've got some pine cones, but I've obviously put that somewhere else. So some conkers, anything at all. And so you're not actually using, you're just reusing, because most of the flowers that fell off that I've used, I've cut some plants back, so I've got what I've got there. If you go for a walk on the park, you'll find lots of leaves, conkers, pine cones. Conkers not so much at the minute, but you've probably got some from last year. So they're just some ideas. I've also just had to buy a new quilt cover and fitted sheet. So I cut the on the fitted sheet. I cut the fitted sheet out, and you're left here with like covered elastic. I hope you can see that. I've put some of the, I'm using these balloons a lot, the ribbon around it, and you can play with it. You know, you charge them one end, or you probably do 3 or 4 children. You can play ring games with this. Put it over your put it under your head. Ensure that you have done. This is elastic, so it shouldn't be able to cause them any damage. But so you could just row the boat, ring roses. Any games, any songs that the children like, you can just walk around holding it in a circle. And it's just good fun, and it's just something different, because obviously the days are long during the summer and we need a lot of things to entertain our children with. So I've used that. Got this game here, got this game here, and this is just a feelie bag. Now you could, this is something that I had a gift in quite a lot of years ago, but you could use a pillow slip. It's not got to be a bag. And you know your own children, so it's just what you call a feelie bag. So you just ask the children to put their arm in and see what they can feel and guess what it is. It's very good for the vocabulary, so it's extending the vocabulary. So when I put my hand in here, I can find myself a spoon. I can find myself a dog, but obviously I've got to be saying, and it's actually asking them to use some descriptive work with what does it feel like. So this, would you say, oh, it feels furry, or what do you think that could be? And use something that you know they'll know. Like if you've got a child that's particularly keen on Daddy Pig, you would probably put Daddy Pig in, and they might be able to recognise that. So that's just one very, very simple game that you can just make. And if the children are bored, you can do that in a few seconds. You can just offer yourself a pillow slip, and it's not going to. It could be a paper bag. It could be anything. So that's one game. Another game that I have done a few times is this game. It's all about sorting. So I've done it. So I've got what I have in my bathroom. So it'd be what you had in your bathroom and what I have in my kitchen. And you'd have 2 boxes, and you'd just tip the bins out, and the children would have to sort them into what goes into what they use in the bathroom and what they use in the kitchen. So I've only just put really simple things in there, like a flannel and toothbrush and a hairbrush, and then here I've got a scouring pad, cup and a bowl, and I've also got, which I think we're all quite used to using at the moment, is some hand gel. So just something simple like that. So again, the boxes that you've been using, the other bins, you can use the same boxes. Those. There's also books that you can read, and I've got one here, things I can do to save the world. And here it's got I enjoy making toys from things around the house. I thought that was quite appropriate for today's session. So just to recap, if you've got something and you no longer need it, please just take it to a charity shop. You could try and sell it online. There's quite a lot of things being sold on Visit Neighbours online and different things. To try to just not throw it away. Also, you know, if there's something that you've had for a number of years and you think nobody will want it for anything, it's always worth a try, because somebody's trash is another person's treasure. And I don't know whether you ever watch Something for Nothing on the telly, and they always change some things into marvellous creations. So when you've got something that you no longer need, have a long hard look at it. Could you upcycle it? You know, are you into painting furniture or something that you find interesting? Or if you've got like old bedding and different things, take that. If you think you wouldn't want it in a charity shop, or if you've got furnishings, there's always things like the RSPCA. I've got an RSPCA near me, and they're always after old towels and things for the dogs and cats. So always think about who else could use it, what else could they use it for. And sometimes when somebody buys something from you and they tell you what they're going to make, and this has happened to me, and I've been quite cross because I thought, I wish I'd have thought of that idea first. So thank you for joining me. I know it's just only a whistle-top tour of reusing, but just at home, just stop and think before you purchase anything new for your children. Think about what can you use with the things that you've got, and enjoy the sunlight. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you.